Paul, you and I have both seen Rogue One.
Yes.
Star Wars story.
We have.
I actually haven't spoken to you about whether or not you liked it. What did you make of it?
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Same as yourself. I don't think I was as high on it as you were, or as you seem to be.
I loved it. I really loved it.
Natty, I think, enjoyed it even less. Not say that she didn't like it, but I think, had even more problems with it than I did. So I'll let you start, and then I can put in my points where I think that the film was a little bit weaker.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I was way into it. I remember coming out of Force Awakens thinking, obviously that was good. It was well made. It was a good film, but it was like just kind of, it's like, okay, we're doing Star Wars again, and it's going to be extremely similar, and it is really kind of just retelling the story for a new generation with some changes. Whereas Rogue One, despite being a prequel that like fits into the existing timeline, it really just feels like its own thing, like in terms of what it's doing, like thematically and just what it offers compared to other Star Wars films. It really feels like they made a cool sci-fi film, and they are just very lucky that they can use the Star Wars license to market it, because it does not feel like it's necessarily pressing all the buttons that Star Wars typically does, and I mean that in a good way. Good cast. I don't know that I was in love with the lead actress. I don't know what her name is.
Felicity Jones.
Didn't blow me away. I thought there were like much better people in supporting roles, like Forrest Whitaker and Maz Mikkelsen. In fact, an awful lot of the supporting cast. Riz Ahmed was in there as well, who's great. He's in a lot of stuff lately. She didn't do much for me, but other than that, I thought it was well made, and even though it was extremely Star Warsy, you had cameos, you had the music, you had the TIE fighter sounds. I mean, these are all great things. Even in the prequels, even in bad movies, the sights and sounds of Star Wars are always nice. Really great, and the twists that there were quite a few of, I enjoyed quite a bit. And I felt like this was even better than Force Awakens. If you like your nostalgia and you like your references, I think this was even better than Force Awakens. I won't get into them here, even though they're not plot important. I think there's just some really neat little nods and winks here and there, some of which are actually very subtle. I dug it a whole lot. What did you? What were maybe some of your issues?
Well, as you say, I liked it a whole lot. I'm a big fan of the director, of course. It's the third movie I've seen of. I think he's only made three. I think this is his third movie. Gareth Edwards, who made Monsters in 2011, 2012. I'm not sure the year exactly. And then he made 2014's Godzilla, which of course I'm a huge fan of. One thing that I saw in Godzilla that I feel is the same about Rogue One is that. While I think he does action very well, especially the big action set pieces, big epic action. And in fact, there were some shots in Rogue One that I actually thought were very reminiscent of Godzilla. One specifically where you have the Death Star kind of peering over this aerial dogfight happening. Kind of reminded me of kind of Godzilla looking over kind of downtown. His penchant for monster movies was kind of evident, because I also love the presentation of the walkers. Yeah, as they come out of like the dust, and it was again very Godzilla-like,
So cool, yeah.
So while I feel like he nails that, I think Rogue One had kind of the same issue with as Godzilla, that the main characters were just really not very interesting. As you said, Felicity Jones, her character Jyn Erso, I think it was called. Not that her performance I didn't think she was too bad, but herself and I don't remember the captain, who was played by Diego Luna. I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
they just for me had no chemistry.
No.
Their dialogue was kind of clunky, and I as you said, I preferred by a wide margin a lot of the supporting cast. Not even like the Forrest Whitakers and Mads Mikkelsens, although they're very good. Even the like the blind Jedi believer and his counterpart, and obviously the droid G something 20, whatever his name was.
It has a lot of the hallmarks of Star Wars in terms of the plucky characters and the dynamics between them. They're all really great, but the two central ones, they aren't Han and Luke. They ain't even really close, honestly. That is a weaker.
That's one thing that I thought The Force Awakens did really well, was setting up really strong, dynamic lead characters like Finn, Rey.
Yeah.
Even then, the lesser characters, Poe Dameron, and so on and so forth. I think they were a lot more memorable, a lot more charming than we got in this movie. And I think that's kind of a hallmark of a weakness of the director, is that he doesn't really do the human characters very well. A lot of time they're very bland, very generic, and that's certainly something I thought here. In terms of the plot, again, one thing that people said about Force Awakens was that the plot was very samey. And although this wasn't as kind of transparently, like, point for point the same as an earlier movie, a lot of the same story beats, if you will, were kind of the same, where you have Jyn at the beginning of the movie, although she's not, orphaned essentially, for intents and purposes she is, and she's going out to rebel, and in some ways her character is too similar to Rey, which we just saw it last year. Like at the end of the movie, all I could think of when I was thinking of Jyn and her story was that she just came off to me as a less likable, less memorable version of Rey, and they even look similar. They even look kind of the same. So I wasn't so much a big fan of her. For me, the second act, I really didn't like. I thought the start of the movie was quite strong, and I thought the end of the movie was quite strong, but in the middle, it kind of lost me for a while. The cinema we saw it in was also very warm for whatever reason. It was like stepping into a sauna. So during that second act, I think I nearly dozed off about 10 times. So I'm going to have to go watch it again to, not that I missed a lot. Like, I would just find myself sitting there with my eyes closed for like 15 seconds and have to remind myself to kind of open them up and start watching again. And then the same thing would happen. But the second act is more kind of dialogue heavy, and it's not super interesting. And even moments that kind of feel like you should really care about them, obviously you won't get into spoilers, but some of them just kind of come and go, and they didn't really get me involved emotionally. And I think that might have again been due in part to the lead performances or the lead characters, which I didn't really care for. As I said, the action is good. Even some of the characters, like Ben Mendelsohn's Imperial captain or whatever he plays with the white cloak, I thought he was very good, but his character just seemed to be forever undermined by other characters who were very similar. So I kind of, again, at the end of it, I was thinking, like, what was even the point of his character, really? He was just constantly being undermined. He didn't really have any purpose that those other characters couldn't have just done. So yeah, I mean, it was a mixed bag for me. I did like it. I think I'd be somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for me. Probably a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Did not blow me away, unfortunately. Like I said, the action was great, but I think action really only can carry a movie when the characters are strong. And unfortunately, in this case, the characters didn't do it for me. As you say, the cameos, there were a lot of cameos that I noticed and I really enjoyed. Obviously, won't spoil. There's one in particular that I would even say was almost a mark-out moment. One of my favorite obscure character pairs showed up. You might know the one I'm talking about. Overall, I would say I would recommend it. Again, maybe a 6 or a 7. But The Force Awakens, this ain't for me. I just think it lacked the charm and the characters. And for me, Star Wars ultimately is about the characters, you know? When we think Star Wars, we do think, as you say, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Luke, Leia, Obi-Wan, you know? For me, Rogue One was a little bit more Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, that's not what I look for from a Star Wars movie. Although, technically it was very good, and as I said, the action and set pieces were some of the best in the series. But that alone is enough to carry it for me. So it'd be a thumbs up, but not maybe 2 thumbs up. And I would not say by any means that, you know, the brakes are screeching on, you know, the hype train of Star Wars. But it is, to me, a little bit of a step back.
I mean, I feel like that's going to happen anyway, just because it's yearly. You know?
Yeah, I mean, of course. It's just crazy to me how, you know, for me, how perfect Force Awakens was in terms of what I wanted from a new Star Wars movie, and that this one wasn't quite like not that I expected it to be as good, obviously, as Force Awakens. And I know that even some people don't like Force Awakens that much. I truly do. I think Force Awakens is in the top 3 of the 7 Star Wars movies. So right up there with A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back for me. This one, yeah, just it was pretty good, and I would kind of stop there. Did not blow the doors down.
Fair enough. Joe will be seeing it, I guess, soon, and after Christmas we can get the final opinion here.
Joe, you will be the tiebreaker, I suppose. Is it brilliant, or is it merely okay, or will Joe just not like it at all?
Joe will hate it.
Well, Joe, coming from a screenwriting background, I'm guessing that he'll be a little bit, again, more of a mixed bag. That's just my prediction, as I eat an apple.
You finished, Joe?
I'm finished now.
Sorry, I muted all of that because I didn't want any spoilers.
Oh, there was no spoilers anyway.
Good. I didn't want to.
Why would we do spoilers?
Like not actual spoilers, but even just hearing what you thought is kind of a spoiler.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, by the way, we went to the cinema and we got our seats, and this pair of dudes, I believe, were father and son.
They were dudes. Was one of them Johnny Ace?
Yeah, how do you know? Did they come in on skateboards?
A couple of gentlemen sat next to Kira, and they were, I believe, father and son. And my eye, like during the trailers, my eye was kind of caught by the fact that they appeared to be like having some kind of fight, and they were not being subtle about it. Like I heard, basically, just in the distance, just 2 seats down from me, move. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And they were having a dispute about where to sit, and the father was like pointing, like move over, and saying it really loud, like not even having that style of fight where they're just like trying to be, you know, like whispering under their breath, but they're getting agitated. And I couldn't hear anymore, and I didn't want to make it look like I was looking, but Kira told me like they were like having a never-ending fight about everything. Like they were obviously just in a bad mood with each other, and I don't think Star Wars was going to cheer them up. And she said they had a fight over minstrels at one point. And eventually the dad just stormed off, I think, like just before the film started, and the kid, the guy, the younger man was like late 20s. He was older than me, he looked. And the dad was like 50s. And so the young fella followed the dad out, and then he came back on his own and sat down and watched the movie, and the dad never came back. And it was just, Christmas. So yeah, that's a little bit of bonus life guff there for you. Don't fight with your family members in the cinema, especially if they're going to storm off and miss the movie. But yeah, so that was funny. Any other movie guff? Joe, have you seen it this week?
No, I think I have, but I can't remember. But I did watch a couple of Star Wars today, just to get warmed up.
Speaking of Star Wars, tell us about it.
So So I watched the Star Wars, which is still obviously very, very good. I also watched for only the second time ever, Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh.
The third of the Star Wars movies. Boy, that's a long movie. Ooh, that goes on a bit, does it not?
How long is it?
The final fight scene kicks in, I think it's about halfway through the fucking movie. They get onto that lava world.
Yeah.
The lava level of Super Mario. They start bouncing around these platforms, and then it jumps back to something else, and then the Wookiees turn up, and then, oh god, I don't know, something else happens. Yeah, and brilliant dialogue, like Anakin saying, in my opinion, the Jedi are the bad ones. Something like that. I tweeted it, I can't remember what the line was, but it was like, the most kind of obvious villain ever in, what's his name, Palpatine.
Yeah.
And Anakin has to feign shock when he finally works out that he's a Sith Lord, despite the fact that he's been saying it for the past 45 minutes.
That's where he gets his big vagina head in that movie as well.
Yeah, and then Natalie Portman just dies for no particular reason. There's nothing wrong with her. She just lost the will to live. I don't know if she was watching the movie or what, but she. Anyway, wouldn't recommend that. It did remind me actually that Ewan McGregor was actually very good in those movies. I thought.
Yeah.
He manages to cut through the shitty material, which I don't think the other actors really could. So fair play to him. Hope they bring him back for one of the new ones. Be a Force Ghost or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if because they're doing an Obi-Wan standalone, aren't they?
Yes. Yes. I would love to see one with him in.
That'd be alright, yeah.
I mean, they'd maybe avoid it because they don't want to remind people of the prequels, but I think he would be really, really good.
Yeah, they seem to really not want to really address them in any way, shape, or form. And I mean, this isn't really a spoiler. I don't believe really anything at all from Revenge of the Sith is referenced in Rogue One. I think there's maybe one thing where I thought to myself, "Oh, is that a episode 3 thing?" But it's not important. So yeah. Paul, you saw some other stuff, by the way.
Does Jimmy Smits turn up with like a baby, one of those carriers?
He doesn't have one of the carriers, but Jimmy Smits is in the movie.
That's a spoiler.
Spoiler. But yeah, so that was the Star Wars guff.